Equity Now, Nina Saxon of Office of New York City Comptroller Scott M. Stringer, Carmen Vasquez, Community Advocate, and Daina Traveso, Daina Touch Enterprise Incorporated. You all look so beautiful. Thank you so much for your support, making sure that this parade happens every single year, because it's so important for us to keep these traditions and cultures alive. I remember as a kid, you know, the day before Three Kings showed up to my house, or the night before, we'd go out, you know, to the nearby park and yank grass out of the ground, or if we didn't get a chance to do that, I would steal lettuce from my grandmother's house, borrow, and I would put it in a shoebox that said, you know, Tom McKen's, and I would put it underneath my bed, and somehow the camels would show up and eat it, but they ate so much grass and lettuce everywhere else. I used to think, man, this pork camellos, man, camellos everywhere. But anyways, I'm so glad I was able to contribute to that tradition and to have that part of my life. I guess that's what kept me going, you know? All right, so just quickly want to acknowledge some remarkable lineups that we have during this year's parade. We have Annette Aguilar and the String Beans. We got Bombayo in the house. We got PSM 57 Marching Band in the house. WABAFU Garifuna Dance Theater. And Fuego Azul NYC. Big round of applause, folks. And I believe, Anna, I don't want to make a mistake on this, but at 1 o'clock, Anna, we have a performance by Fuego Azul. Oh, Los Pleneros del 21. They will be at the theater at 1 p.m. So be sure to come back after the parade. Don't get lost. Like, ay, mira, nena, vamos allá, buscando una camiseta que está en el sale. Come back, because we have a great show for you. All right. So now this is the moment we get a chance to acknowledge some of our elected officials, and they get a chance to come up here and share some things with you folks and inspire you for the future. And we've got some really passionate folks that are here in the house. Our first friend in the house today, this man always shows a lot of love when he comes up here. You can feel the Christmas spirit and the holiday spirit still pumping in his blood. Please welcome to the stage, Comptroller Scott Stringer.
It is really great to be here again with all of you to celebrate the Feast of the Epiphany, and what better place to do that at Museo del Barrio. What an amazing place in East Harlem. So to all the honorees, to the people who create the amazing, vibrant spirit of the Latino community, millions strong in New York, I celebrate you as well. That is what today is all about, as we march, as we celebrate. And you know, this holiday, as I think about it, is really not about all of us, but it really is about the children. Right? That is what makes it so special. We honor our children, and we love watching them grow up in the spirit of Three Kings. And part of that is family, faith, and community, as we all know. But I have to tell you, tonight, or last night, I'm broke. Well, I gotta tell you, you know, my children just went through 8 days of Hanukkah. A present every night. But as many of you know, I'm not just Jewish, but I have a very proud Puerto Rican stepfather. So on the last day of Hanukkah, my little boys start talking about their abuela and Christmas and all that that will bring to them. They have worked this out after 8 years to a science. I cannot But one of the things that I saw last night was the kids started to put grass along the bed. And I'm like, well, guys, what are we doing now? I said, well, we're waiting for the camel and the gifts. And I said, no mas, that's it, no more, no more. The task stand. So in the spirit, I want to wish everybody a glorious day, a great march through the greatest community in the city, and we thank God that all of us are together in the great diversity we call New York City. Thank you and congratulations.
So now joining us to the stage is our Borough President, Gail Brewer.
Good morning and thank you. And I have to say, 43 years is a very long time. And I want to thank Patrick, the board, Anna, and everybody who cares so much about El Museo. It is the jewel of not just El Barrio, but the entire city of New York. So congratulations on board. Seeing all of the kings and queens and all of those dressed, because what it says to me is the tradition is continuing, and I have to say I look forward to this day every single year. There are an awful lot of Three Kings Day celebrations, but whether it's celebrating immigrants or just celebrating the museums in El Barrio, this is the New York City Three Kings Day, period. Period. And I think that today, celebrating our collective strength, goodness knows we need that today in 2020. New York City's incredible immigrant and migrant community, which we would not be New York City without, despite whatever that idiot in the White House says. So, El Museo, we know, was the first museum of Latino art and culture, and we're so lucky we're here. We have the largest Puerto Rican population anywhere in the world, and we have the largest Latino. So this museum brings the art, the history, the culture to the heart of New York for all Latinos, and particularly in the Puerto Rican community. So I am 100% committed to promoting the arts of this museum and allocating whatever funding I possibly can, because that's what elected officials are supposed to do. So I thank you for bringing us together, not just today, and I want to thank also Community Board 11, because they too are the heart and soul of this wonderful community. Thank you, Board 11. But thank you all for bringing us together for the celebration and for what you bring to our cultural landscape 365 days a year. Thank you very much. And thank you, Isabel, for my representatives here. A member of the community. Thank you.
All right, how y'all doing so far? Good? Is the coffee kicking in? You guys are okay over here? I'm gonna make sure you guys are okay. So we acknowledge that the madrinas and the padrinos are over here to your left, and there are beautiful, lovely kings. I know I was gonna get to it because I changed or adjusted the title yet of the event, but we've got two queens and two kings on the stage. Wait, let me fix that, because somebody here wanted to be a king. They said, right, you're a king. You're the king. You got it. You got it. Just power. You got it. You got it, Diana. I don't want to get beat up after the show. All right, so coming all the way from the Boogie Dance, this brother comes to the stage. He brings style, class. Smooth guy, man. Love having you in the house. Please welcome to the stage Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr.
Buenos días. Feliz Día de los Reyes Magos, familia. ¿Se sienten bien? Bueno, yo me siento sumamente orgulloso de estar aquí con ustedes, celebrando con el Museo del Barrio esta gran tradición de nosotros, los latinos, que no se puede negar. A nuestra comunidad no se puede negar. Nuestra comunidad sigue creciendo, nuestra diversidad es algo que celebramos, pero cuando se habla de los días de los Reyes Magos es sumamente importante de que aquellos de nosotros que somos cristianos, que celebramos el nacimiento de Jesucristo, el niño Jesús, como los judíos Hanukkah, como celebran los musulmanes sus tradiciones, sin miedo, sin duda. Solo tenemos que celebrar ser latino, ser cristiano. Y el Día de los Reyes Magos exactamente es eso. Y apreciamos mucho cuando aquellos que no son latinos, que no son cristianos, celebran con nosotros. Es más de darle un regalito a un niño. Es una tradición de mami, de abuelita, de papi, de abuelito. Una tradición que muchos de ustedes saben. Muchos de ustedes, como mis padres, que vinieron de otros sitios aquí, a Nueva York, a los Estados Unidos, que no eran ricos, que como abuelita y mis tíos y mis tías y mami eran pobres, pero como quieran eran ricos en tradición, ricos en fe. Mami siempre me dice de las historias cuando era niña, cuando antes de la noche anterior tenía su cajita con grama, para que los camellos vengan a comer y que le den un regalito, y abuelita siempre le dejaba, como eran muchos, una muñeca hecha de mano, se la ponía en la cajita de se la guardaba para regalársela de nuevo el año que viene. Pero como quiera, mami era una niña contenta, ¿no? Eso es lo que estamos celebrando. Estamos celebrando que cuando se habla de regalo, el regalo más grande para todos nosotros nos dio Papá Dios en el niño Jesucristo. Un regalo para que nosotros podamos celebrar lo que es ser humano en este tiempo de crisis, en este tiempo de ataques a nuestros hermanos judíos, en este tiempo lamentablemente de odio en contra del inmigrante. ¿Qué es lo que fue José, María y Jesucristo? No fueron inmigrantes, no fueron pobres. Yo represento un condado, el condado del Bronx, donde la mayoría de la población somos latinos, donde sigue siendo el inmigrante. El condado del Bronx, como la ciudad de Nueva York, es perfecto, pero la realidad es que somos mejor que nunca gracias al inmigrante, gracias al latino. Y eso es lo que estamos celebrando. Necesitamos celebrar paz, tradición, amor, diversidad. Por favor, como mis padres lo hicieron por nosotros, mi hermano y mi hermana, enseñen a sus niños lo que es el Día de los Reyes Magos. Enseñen. ¿Cuántos de ustedes aquí saben los 3 nombres de los reyes? No lo tienen que decir, porque yo sé que hay algunos que no lo saben. Y uno fue negrito. Uno fue negrito. Y nosotros también, fíjense, como el de papi, somos rey y reinas. So I just want to say, happy to be thankful. Enjoy the holiday. I'm glad that our Jewish brothers and sisters, like Scott Stringer, is spending all his money celebrating his great tradition. This is about tradition, about love and peace and diversity and coming together and celebrating the greatest gift of all for those of us who are Christians, and that's the gift that God gave us in baby Jesus. God bless you all, and God bless the Jewish.
Everybody was like, ooh, me, pick me out of the 3. Everybody turned into a kid in class. All right, we're continuing with our folks here. We'd like to welcome to the stage State Senator Jose Serrano, Jr.
It's always a pleasure to be here on this really wonderful festive occasion, and with my colleagues in government as we come together to celebrate something that's really important in not only the Latino community but throughout the city. Also extremely happy to be here with my dad, Congressman Serrano. He's had a rough couple of weeks medically, but he did not want to miss this event. And he's here, and it brings me great joy to be with him because this event speaks of the traditions we were raised with in our home. And as we've heard from our colleagues and from Ruben Diaz, these events bring us together. They break down barriers. In a time of hate, division, so many negative things, how fitting that we are here at a cultural institution filled with artists, filled with art, and the arts being the great equalizer in our society. For centuries, it was the artists who were the real ones who called for social justice. Long before elected officials were doing it, It was the artists who were infusing their work the call for equality, the call for social justice. So now that we are faced with, thank you. Now that, I can tell you that. Now that we are faced with and grappling with, I think, one of the most difficult times in our history, I believe wholeheartedly that the solution is right in front of us. That the artists, the arts and culture are that one thing, that one vehicle who can sew us all back together. To break down the barriers, the myths that divide us, the arts are the things we can all agree upon. So I want to thank the Museo for this wonderful tradition year after year, for all the participants. And I want to just mention one other thing. Three Kings Day is something that is so intrinsically important, not only to the Latino community, but to the entire community here throughout New York City. And I have legislation in the Senate that would call on, that would create a school holiday for Three Kings Day. It's carried in the Assembly by my friend, Assemblyman Robert Rodriguez. Hopefully this year we get that bill passed, because I think we need an extra day off from school, but more importantly, wait, that's my kids talking, I'm sorry. No, but I think it is really important to recognize a day, a cultural significant, a religiously significant day that is so important. And I think it should no longer be overlooked. I hope the bill gets passed. Thank you, everyone.
Man, they passed that law now that I'm an adult. Doesn't affect me. So, can y'all make a time machine too so I can enjoy these days off? All right, so we are going to introduce one of our first kings to the stage. And this guy here is he's a very special friend to me. He's a very special friend to many. He's an award-winning poet, longtime El Barrio resident, and one of the original founders of the New Yorican arts movement, Jesus Papoleto Melendez. Yes, sir. As our King Emeritus for over 20 years. And not only will you see him on this stage, but you will see him on TV. This man here is not just a poet, is not just contributed on so many levels as an artist, but he's entering a phase as an actor, and I'm so proud of him. Can I spill the beans? He's going to be on the TV show FBI next week on Tuesday. This guy has a smooth headshot, a cool manager. He's doing his thing, man. Please welcome Jesus Papoleto Melendez to the stage.
Felicidades, familia! All right. I'm supposed to be brief, and I will be. I just want to say, Victor asked me to be in his movie, The Stockroom. So that's how I want to interact. I want to say that este día para mí es bien especial. I really love Three Kings Day. I just think this is like a really cool day because to me, I've done this. Well, this is my 25th parade. So what I see is that to me it's like everybody is Christ Jesus today. Everybody, the animals, the cops, the politicians, the children, everybody is Christ Jesus today. And so I remember that first of all there was an earthquake in Puerto Rico, so I'm thinking about that and our people in La Isla. And also I think about all the children who are being held captive in the United States away from their parents, and they too are Christ Jesus today without their Madonna and Joseph. Okay? God bless you guys. Bienvenido al barrio.
Thank you, Papoleto. All right, so now we get a chance to introduce our lovely madrinas and padrinos. Honestly, congratulations on all of your efforts. You're here because I mean, we acknowledge you for everything that you've done. So thank you. Big round of applause for them before I start to introduce. It is with great pleasure that I introduce our honorary madrinas y padrinos, chosen by our Three Kings Steering Committee. Our honorees are an exceptional group of individuals affecting change on the local level. In honor of our theme this year, all our honorees are immigrants working in the cultural sector, immigrant rights activists, or members of the Puerto Rican diaspora. We're going to start with the madrinas. And as I call your name, please join me on stage to receive your award. And they'll be handing your awards out here on this side of the stage. We're going to begin with a television personality and producer who is a good friend of mine. She is wearing the costume of Celia Cruz. She'll give you the full name because she knows it. Please welcome Rena Valentin. Immigrant Defense Coordinator, Make the Road New York, Luba Cortez. She is wearing the costume of Isabel Gonzalez. And she's late. She's here in spirit, but her body's on its way. But let's give her a big round of applause. One of the other Marinas, can I have one? We'd like to welcome our next Marina. This is a senior client advocate of the Little Sisters of the Assumption Family and Health Services. Please welcome Pura Cruz. She is wearing the costume of Antonia Pantoja. Now we'd like to welcome interdisciplinary visual artists wearing the costume Pura Belpre. Please welcome Cherezade Garcia. And now we'd like to welcome youth advocate wearing the costume of Julia Constancia Burgos Garcia. Please welcome Ruby Naboa. And yeah, Ruby's gonna say a couple of words. So Ruby, if you want, you get the microphone. Oh, Ruby's not in the house. You know, I wasn't gonna judge. I was like, wait, Ruby has changed. But Ruby would like to say a few words. Can she hold the award through the phone? You know, nobody tells me anything. I'm like, Rui Navarra! It's not here. Okay, and the show must go on. Another big applause for las madrinas, please. Now we're going to introduce the padrinos. This is a culture producer wearing the costume of Rafael Tufino. Please welcome Christian Martin. The director of Alianza Dominicana Cultural Center, wearing the Don Pedro Albizu Campos costume. Please welcome Leonardo Ivan Dominguez. And now the founder of La Escuela de Mariachis Ángeles de Nueva York, wearing the Jack Agueros costume. Please welcome Renee Escamilla. I'm gonna go to his school to learn some music, man. This guy's got a mariachi school right here in El Barrio. I'll see you soon, baby. We'd like to welcome youth advocate Nico Henton, wearing the costume of Peary Thomas. We'd like to welcome visual artists wearing the Pedro Pietri costume. Please welcome Lee Quiñones. All right, another big round of applause for our madrinas and our padrinos. So how's everybody feeling? Good? You guys are good? Having a good time so far? Everybody awake? If somebody takes a nap, you shake them, okay? Pour some coffee in your eyes because we're having a good time. As per tradition, every year we select 3 kings that have demonstrated meaningful service and commitment to the Latino community. Please help me welcome this year's kings to the podium. Now, we've got 2 kings we've established, and we have 1 queen. Or do you want to be king as well? She's like, I'm a queen, okay? Yes, queen! All right, so we're gonna introduce our first king queen. Julissa Arce is a speaker, writer, and the author of My Underground American Dream. Julissa immigrated to America from Mexico at the age of 11 and was undocumented for almost 15 years. Some of them spent rising to prominence on Wall Street. In order to help each other, young people in similar circumstances, Julissa co-founded the Ascend Educational Fund. Julissa Arce is Ana Caona. Please welcome her to the stage.
For a lot of reasons, one of which I have always thought of myself as being a queen, and today I finally have the costume to go with that attitude. So thank you very much for that. I really just wanted to say, one, thank you so much for honoring immigrants in this 3 Kings Day celebration, because as someone who grew up undocumented for 15 years, I didn't really ever feel celebrated. In fact, I felt like I had to be ashamed of who I was, as if I had done something wrong by being in this country. And today, I stand before you as someone who's being honored for not being undocumented, but for what I've done in spite of being undocumented. And I think that's so much of what I like to celebrate about our immigrant community, which is our strength and our resilience. Because someone like me wasn't supposed to make it as far as I did, and yet here I am. So many undocumented youth are not supposed to be where they are, and yet there they are. Through the scholarship fund that I started in 2012, we've awarded almost $500,000 in college scholarships. And every year I meet undocumented youth who just blow my mind away because of the joy that they are able to experience despite their circumstances, because of the strength that they have, because no matter what obstacles they face, they continue to strive forward and they continue to achieve things that nobody would ever think possible that they would achieve. I also meet students that are going to community college, students who aren't going to college at all, and I think that they deserve to be honored just as much as the students that are going to Harvard and Princeton and Yale. Here's the last thing I will say. I chose this beautiful costume of the golden flower because it honors our indigenous roots, our indigenous Latino roots. Growing up in Mexico, I've got to be honest, I wasn't really taught to celebrate my indigenous roots. In fact, I was taught que no seas India. I shouldn't be proud of my indigenous roots. I remember wearing my hair down the middle and straight, and my mom would say to me, "Mija, te ves como una india así. You look a little indigenous like that." And all I kept thinking now is, "Mami, but I am indigena, and so are you." And that is something that we should be proud of and we should celebrate. What I'm wearing today is a Dominican chief. I am Mexican, but I am really honored to be wearing this Dominican costume because we are a little bit different, all of us Latinos. We don't all come from the same places. Our Spanish is a little bit different, right? I never left grass for the Tres Reyes Magos. I just wrote a letter. I didn't know about the grass until today. But I think it's kind of cool, and I will make my kids leave the grass, make them work a little. But I think that what is more important than what makes us different as Latinos is what brings us together. I lived here in the Barrio for many years, the 116th, the 119th, the 125th. I kept going further north every year, as the rents went up in our neighborhood. And I remember feeling like I was at home con mi gente, even though mi gente wasn't a bunch of Mexicans. Mi gente became Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, and I learned how to dance bachata. So, later there's some bachata dancing. Come ask me to dance. I learned how to love sancocho because I couldn't find caldo de pollo anywhere, but I was like, oh man, sancocho is really even a little better. So even though we're different, I think what really I like to honor today is what makes us as Latinos stronger. And the more that we recognize and realize our similarities, nobody's going to be able to bring us down because we are stronger when we work together.
All right, our next king coming to the podium. I said the stage, but you were already on the stage. It was like there's a separate stage, just for you. Thank you for your contributions. I think the story is very powerful. Thank you so much. Big round of applause again one more time for All right, our next king is Ernesto Quiñones. He's an acclaimed novelist, essayist, and storyteller. He was raised in East Harlem and is a product of public education from kindergarten at PS 101 on 111th Street and Lexington Avenue to his master's at the City College of New York. His debut novel, Bodega Dreams, is now a landmark classic. His latest novel, Taina, Taina's like, is it about me? Se fue. His latest novel, Taina, was released in September of 2019. Please welcome to the stage, dressed as Miguel De Cevantes, Ernesto Quiñones.
En una tenía de Central Park, yo tenía la esquina de la 110 y Lexington. Y los camellos were happy. Because he wanted more toys. Cervantes had a costume when he was a writer. I feel like when he was Shakespeare. Mira, is that a dagger I see before me? No, it's handled towards my hand. Mira, let me touch thee. I see thee not, and yet I see thee. Anyway, thanks for coming. And let me just say, los immigrantes are very important. My dad's from Ecuador, and he always had family, or he always had people that were related to us staying with us. And I used to hate it. There was like 5 of us, 5 children, and then mom and dad, and then my father was like, este es el vecino mío del Ecuador, va a quedarse con nosotros hasta que tenga un trabajo. And I was like, Dad, there's like so many. It was only later, when I became older, that I realized that history was helping immigrants. And that's what we have to do, is help each other, help those new that have just arrived here to the United States, to the Barrio, or whatever. And that's what it's all about, it's helping each other. When one of us moves up, he takes the entire Latin culture with him. Balance into balance and have a wonderful time.
Listen, don't be mad at me. Mommy said, meet Ernesto on 110th by the park. He's going to give you grass. Those are the 3 kings. Thanks, Anissa. That was a great year. We started the year off on a high. You can't, don't just need to use it on pizza, you can use it for the menus. Okay, oregano, baby, here we go. So, born in my hometown, born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. And I feel like before I bring you up, I want to say bendición. Because it just, oh, gracias. The moment I saw you, the first words that came out of my mouth was abuela. She just has that energy about her. She was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. Elba Cabrera is a lifelong arts advocate. In her role as the Assistant Director of the Association of Hispanic Arts, she supported over 100 organizations. A collection of photography and ephemera housed at the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College offers rich insight into New York City's dynamic Puerto Rican art scene from the 1970s to the 2000s. Affectionately dubbed La Madrina de las Artes by Wally Edgecombe and Tato Miguel, Elba Cabrera today is dressed as Arturo Schaumburg. Please welcome Elba Cabrera.
I came here when I was a year and a half old. My mother and my sister India came to join my aunt and my sister Evelina here in El Barrio, so I'm back home. We lived here in this area for 9 years before we went to the Bronx. But I have to tell you that I felt the love of this community because everyone was looking out for each other. And when you talk about having people in your home that you didn't know, there was always this space for someone who needed a room. And I have to share this with you. But during that time, and I'm talking about the 30s and the 40s, an apartment in El Barrio you could get for about $15, $18 a month. The thing was that the landlords were always, trying to get you to come to their tenement. And they would give you 3 months free rent. So we moved a lot. Every 3 months we were on the road. And there were also rent parties. I don't know if you know what a rent party was. You paid maybe 50 cents or $1, and you would go to this party with the person who gave the party to pay their rent. So I have a lot of memories of wonderful musicians like Machito that used to come to my house to play for my birthday. So I feel very, very, very blessed that I lived in this area. I'm also honored because I worked with the Museo for many years when I worked with the Association of Hispanic Arts, and it has done so much for me and for all the people that are here. So I thank you, and thank you for choosing me as your king, because the king is the one with the power. When the queen gets the power, then I'll go back to being a queen, okay? And I have to tell you that my granddaughter is going to be an angel to me this year. She's there. And my big granddaughter is right behind. And my son. Anyway, thank you. Gracias por todo. Bendiciones.
She's so cute. She's so cute. Hi, Miss Dave. Oh, how are you? Beautiful little angel. So beautiful. So we're here surrounded by family and friends today, and I know a lot of us have a lot of family and friends in Puerto Rico, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge not only all the earthquakes that have been happening, but before dawn today, Puerto Rico was hit with a 5.8 magnitude earthquake, which has caused landslides, power outages. And so I just want to take a moment to just acknowledge them and send them love and blessings. And maybe just take even just 15 seconds of silence just to send them love and blessings. And we'll begin that now. When I think of family, I think of important folks that have helped my own family. And this next person that I'm going to bring to the stage, at one time in the 90s, I remember my mom was having some housing issues in the Bronx. And he came to her rescue. He helped her a great deal. And I know he helped so many people. He's so good to people. But I just wanted to just acknowledge the fact that you helped my mom when she most needed you. And that was a big deal for her. So I'd like to welcome this next person. Please welcome to the stage, Congressman Jose Serrano, Sr.
And as one who likes music before the music was in her life, a little older, I remember a story I read when I was in the teens. I hope it's true. Two unemployed musicians from Mexico in this area. They were looking to form a trio. One was named Chucho Navajo, the other one was named Alfredo and Luego Gail, and they found a third one, a Puerto Rican named Nando Vines, and they formed right here the legendary trio of Pancho. Many people would ask, where the trio of Pancho from? Where they came from Mexico? Yes, they were from here in New York. That's why for so many years it was a tradition. We called it a Pancho. You've heard from my son, by the way, my son is here. Borough President, it's good to meet you. There's two people who are not running for Congressman in Congress in the Bronx. Ray, you think it's that easy, Ray? It's not to be like that. Thanks for being here. But as you heard, I've had a couple of rough months, health-wise. With your prayers, keep me going. As you know, I've bounced around money for the election. So at the end of this year, I will have 46 years of public office. 16 in the state assembly and 30 in Congress. The way I used to see it is when I got elected in 1974, Dean was mayor, Nixon was president, the Mets were a winning team, the Yankees were not. But so much has happened here. When you see this parade, And you see every family is parade on TV announcing the fact that the parade is taking place. I remember when we used to watch it, it's a couple of folks in this town, and we kept growing and growing and growing. And it's no longer La Parada de los Reyes de Harlem, in East Harlem, and in New York, en los Estados Unidos, in Puerto Rico, and so thank you so much for keeping it going. A través de los años ustedes me han recordado por sus oraciones en estos 2 meses que he pasado muy difícil de salud. Pude sostenerme en esos sentimientos y saber que esto también pasará. Me retiro este año, pero voy a desaparecer. Simplemente me retiro sin mi familia. Thank you so much for all you've done. Thank you so much for all that you've done. And keep the tradition alive. Here's a quick story. There was in the Bronx, a father in 1970 wanted to celebrate Fuji as well as Santa Claus. My father was such a purist. He wanted to do things right. So we would put grads on the bed. One day he decided, unbeknownst to another, to take a horseshoe and get some blood or something on it. Go over to the apartment to make it look like the camels had been there. So I didn't know that camels wore horseshoes. And secondly, I'm not going to tell you how Doña Paula reacted when she saw the floor.
Working
That was beautiful. Oh, that was great. I gotta do that. Because my kids are not gonna question the order. Not until they're older. Dad, oh, that's true. Be careful what you did there. All right. I gotta make sure when I meet Ernesto on the 10th that it's fun. You guys having a good time so far? So we'd like to now welcome Councilmember Ben Kalus to the podium.
Let's hear it one more time for our amazing Congressman Serrano. Councilmember Ben Kalus. The first thing I want to clear up is no matter what kind of grass you put under your bed, you get all 3 gifts. I want to thank Mr. Cruz, our master of ceremonies. Can we give him a huge round of applause? And we've got an amazing group of distinguished speakers. I think this is the most distinguished panel we've ever had. Member Serrano, State Senator Jose Serrano. Can we give him a huge round? Not only do we represent El Barrio together, but we also have a fraction of the Upper East Side and the entire island of Roosevelt. If you haven't been there, take a look. It's a great place to go. We have our Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer. And our neighbor just over the river, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. And my partner here in El Barrio, Councilmember Diana Ayala. We're going to follow the leadership of our 3 kings this morning and continue with the theme of immigrants. My family immigrated here. My grandparents fleeing anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe. My wife and her family fleeing anti-Semitism in Russia. And very recently, in our own country, a person was running for president, and I'm not going to, you know what happened, but he decided he wanted to target immigrants. This time, not Jewish immigrants, but Spanish-speaking immigrants, saying all kinds of things that
that no one should ever be allowed to say here or anywhere else. And we joined together and co-chaired the Progressive Caucus with Councilmember Ayala, and we said that New York City is a sanctuary city, that immigrants are welcome here, and that we will do everything in our power to welcome and stand up for our immigrants. And we have stood together on the steps of City Hall so very many times. And if you're familiar with a poem by Pastor Niemöller, first they go for one group, then they go back for the other. As you may be aware, there's been a recent spat of anti-Semitic attacks and murders. And yesterday, 50,000 New Yorkers, not all of whom are Jewish, and a lot from this community, I want to thank you for coming out for my people, because we need to stand together, Jewish people, Hispanic, and now today, we have a different march. And what else can you find camels marching through the streets of New York City, let alone El Barrio? It is part of what makes this city so great. And just if I may leave you with one thought, which is we have our three kings, and as we celebrate three kings, if we can all embody their spirit, and if we should find an immigrant family struggling, sleeping in a barn in Bethlehem amongst the animals, if we could all be those three kings to recognize the sovereignty and the divinity in these people, in their child. After all, we don't know when the second coming will happen, or the first coming, depending on your faith. And we should all treat everyone as they might be our Savior. Thank you.
Gotta bring the mic back down. I'm not so tall. Ben Kalos, one more time, everyone. Show them lots of love. I just want to make a quick announcement that the Speaker of the City of Council, Corey Johnson, will be marching with us in the parade. And also, I want to thank Public Advocate Jumani Williams for commendations for the honorees. He will also be marching with us. And I just want to take a moment to read what is on the let's see here. So it says the Public Advocate for the New York City, the City of New York. This certificate is awarded to the person's name. I'll keep it general, just so you know what it says. The Office of the Public Advocate, in recognition of your commitment to celebrating, uplifting, sharing the culture and heritage of your community, January 6, 2020. Signed on the bottom, Jumani D. Williams, Public Advocate. All right. So, this is probably the second time, if I understand, where we have a Grand Marshal as part of the parade. And, you know, this is a very, very special, for me, Grand Marshal. You know, when I heard your story, man, because I got a chance to meet your mom a couple years ago when we honored her. But to have you, and you know, let me read some of the stuff here, because I think folks need to get a sense of what you've done. Okay, to introduce our Grand Marshal for the 43rd Annual Three Kings Day Parade. For nearly a decade, Marco Saavedra has been a leader in the fight for immigrant rights in the United States. His work is a testimony to the bravery of undocumented youth engaged in direct action. In 2013, Marco self-deported to Mexico with 8 other dreamers. They crossed the border in solidarity with immigrants who did not benefit from the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. Upon returning to the United States, Marco applied for political asylum. His case is currently still pending. In addition to his activist program, he is revered Bronx Knight, whose family's restaurant, La Morada, has served as a space for community building since 2009. The 43rd Annual Three Kings Day Parade's Grand Marshal is Marco Saavedra. Please welcome to the podium.
Thank you so much. I know everyone's ready and excited to, so mantenemos breve. Muchas gracias por este honor. por esta responsabilidad de alzar el clamor del pueblo inmigrante. Por eso, por referencia a los niños, actualmente 4,000 kids are currently in immigrant detention right now as we speak. Right now as we speak, as people are recovering from earthquakes in Puerto Rico, as 12 million acres of fire is burning in Australia, 4,000 kids sit in immigrant detention. So we want to also lift them up. I want to just really quick go back to the story, the nativity story, right? So in all four Gospels, one of the few verses that's in every single Gospel, right? Lucas, write it down. Mateo, where you at? Marcos, and John. A prophet is without honor, especially in his hometown and amongst his own people. Un profeta es especialmente sin honor en su propio país, especialmente con su propia gente. Why is this? Because Christ must have remembered that when he was born, Herod, the puppet king, executed the innocents under Roman Empire occupation. And it was foreigners, right, magi from the Orient that came and visited and honored this baby Jesus. And then obviously growing up, he must have felt the guilt, right, the weight of that. Why was only I saved? Why was everyone else in my generation massacred? Every boy under the age of 2 from Bethlehem, you're done. And so Christ Jesus has to immigrar a Egipto, right? Flee away in captivity, cross the border the same way I did in the middle of the night through the desert with mommy and papi. So we honor that and we remember that. And so just to close, right, the commendation that Christ Jesus says when he goes to the temple, quoting 8th century BCE Isaiah, the Spirit of Sovereign Lord is upon you all, because love has anointed y'all to bind up the brokenhearted, to recover sight to the blind, to proclaim liberty to the captives and release to the prisoners. Para concluir, el comando que Jesús hace en el templo, recaudando las palabras de Isaías, el Espíritu soberano de Dios, todopoderoso, todo amoroso, está sobre ustedes, porque Dios los ha ungido a proclamar libertad al oprimido, a recoger al quebrantado, a recibir vista a los ciegos y a liberar a los oprimidos. So free the prisoners, restore the captives, let the kids be with their family members. We remember Christ Jesus, we honor Christ Jesus, we remember those that are in captivity, and we lift up every broken heart. Thank you.
Can we give Marco another big round of applause? And you're also a filmmaker. You were in a film. Somebody told me you were a filmmaker. I got super excited, but I want to see the film you were in.
Honey, take care of yourself.
So talk about that.
You don't need me.
He was in Star Wars. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate it. I'll look out for you.
Can you get on a cleansing diet?
Just so you know, the entire parade is going to be filmed and what's the term I'm looking for? My TV personality. Live streamed. You see that I'm getting old already. You know where they take the phone and you can see it, and it's happening now, pero you're not there. So our madrina, Rina Valentin, is going to be covering the entire parade via Facebook Live. She's going to be doing interviews via Facebook Live. This means that whoever's not in the house that couldn't be here for whatever reason, you can actually share this link. Share it with your friends and family across all of your platforms so everybody gets a chance to really experience the parade, those that are big. And Museo del Barrio's Facebook page. Make sure you go there and you share it. Don't get nothing wrong. Okay, in closing remarks, all are welcome to join us back here at 1 p.m. for post-parade performance by Los Pleneros de la 21. We're going to be at the... Just so you know that Fuego Azul drummers and our 12-foot tall puppets will be leading the parade throughout, true to our fashion. The parade is going to begin promptly at 11 a.m. at 106th Street and Park. So, look out for the folks waiting out there. I guess you can also look for the camels. They'll be in the house as well, filled with so much grass. Ernesto. But first, I just want want to give a big round of applause to all of our madrinas and padrinos in the house. Big round of applause to our kings and queen in the house. And thank you guys so much for always having me here as the master of ceremonies to lead you into, you got the folks that work for the, the speakers. They're like, don't forget, and I didn't forget because, to be honest with you, she's going to lead us into the parade. She's going to set this off. Please welcome to the podium, Diana Ayala, council member.
I'm leading the parade, but it's really because it's Vanity. I don't like reading this morning, but I'm so exhausted. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I am so tired because this weekend we have been celebrating Nuestros Barrios like nobody's business. I have celebrated with the seniors like Asabe. I have celebrated with the East Harlem Democrats. I have celebrated with the children yesterday. I have celebrated with the local artists. And it all culminates into today's festivities. And I want to say thank you to the Museo, because 43 years is a long time. I was 3 years old when this parade started, 3 years old. Some of you weren't even born when this parade started. And so I want to thank, and carrying on the tradition and ensuring that all of our New York kids that were born here and who know nothing about Nuestros Barrios get to know about Nuestros Barrios. And so I look forward to marching with you today, and I mentioned when you finish the march on 116th Street, if it's a little bit cold, if you've gotten a little bit hungry, please pass by La Placita de la Marqueta. We're going to have some music, we're going to have some picadillos, some hot chocolate, and then you can come back to the museo and dance. So if you have your walking shoes on, are we motivated? Can we do this?